Okay, where cache entries will be saved. So okay, last class we couldn't able to see the screen because it was taking time. So in case you want to enable cache first, okay, so this is the screen you have to come here, cache enabled, and all the properties I showed you in your ncase config file. So they are all visible over here, and you can go and enable or disable whatever you want. Okay, so if you when it is enabled means your entries are there. If you want to disable, log and edit configuration and say disable, remove this option, and the entries you can give, maximum size you can give. Yeah, maximum cache entry size, every entry, not the total. Okay, individual entry is this, whatever is this your default. Okay, so generally we will never use default, we will increase it. Okay, and because it is for a minimum hardware. Okay, but if you have enough hardware, you will increase that always. So once cache entry is created, they will be saved forever. So what should be actually the right method? Once caches are created, what should be done next? Purging. See everything. The moment when we start talking, you have to visualize. OBIEE reporting is only visualize because you are not everything in front of you. Cache is enabled, and when you people creating a report, cache will keep creating. Where it is creating, everything there is a sub question creating, but where it is creating in server. We also showed you the path. We have seen the entries. I opened the file and then showed you. It is storing in a binary. In NKS config file, wherever path is there, it is going to save there. Once cache entry is created, if I create a report and cache entry is created, so next time when I am trying to create a similar report, data comes from where? From cache only. So now, if cache is there, automatically data will come from the cache. If cache is not there, where it will go? It will go to database. So who will decide this one? Huh? I showed you one name. I told you one name actually. Cache detection. Okay, cache detection will decide. So generally it is a very easy but is an interesting important topic, and it will create, it will screw up a complete report data. That's a very sensitive. Okay, you just create and leave it and you are not managing it properly. The result is user will see old data. If at all, if you take a wrong decision on the wrong data, so then it will screw up your business. That is the reason. It's very simple, but at the same time very sensitive matter. So that's why in interviews there will be a lot of questions. You will also practically face a lot of problems with cache. I'll tell you all those things. So try to understand this diagram. Okay. So always whenever who is actually, this is your OBIEE server, and whenever you, okay, this is your, so this is your actual database where your data dimension fact tables are present. Okay, so logical request means your report. Whenever you click on a report, okay, so the request will go to BI server. In the BI server, before deciding OBIEE whether should I go to database or can I get it from a cache, who will decide? There is one small component which is called cache detection, cache hit detection, okay, which is responsible for taking the request and then deciding whether this output or this report output can be taken from the cache also. Where is cache? This is your cache. Cache storing is here. So this is your database here. Okay, so whenever request comes to BI server, so this algorithm will take care, try to compare. So this guy is asking 3 columns, whether these 3 columns are present here or not. If they are present, if at all I can give data from cache, then it will route your request to cache itself. Okay, and then it will return the results to you. So this is your output. In case you are selecting 3 columns, but for those 3 columns are not available in your cache database. So what it will do? It will route your request to your real database. This is your real database, and you will see the results. What it is doing? Parallelly, whatever result you see, the data also will be again kept in a cache. Any new report when you generate, when you see the output, then the data also has to go to your cache also, because next time when I create same report, it will give you data from here because somebody already queried it. No, why, what is that second word? Size is not available. Where? No, we are not, size is not available, then we are not going to database because size is not available. Why it is not available? No, not size. See, these 3 columns are not there in the cache means what? Huh? Nobody created report with those 3 columns so far yet. Not because of the size. Cache size, yeah. So cache size, paging, yeah, both are same. Okay. Data it will bring whatever seeing, yeah, that is keeping in the cache. Per cache, yes, right. No, not that one. So cache means, say you are running a Informatica mapping and you created a lookup, and lookup is building the cache. When you run the mapping, then only cache will be built. If you don't run the mapping, there is no cache. If you make that Informatica cache as reusable, if you have run your mapping previously, then only other people can reuse your cache. If you don't run the first mapping, the other people even cannot see the cache. So here also same, cache will be built only when you have created a report at least once. And if you have not created report with those 3 columns, cache will not come, because always this will decide any request which you create, whether it can come from cache or it can come from the database. How it is going to decide? In every report I showed you in a cache manager, when you right click, every entry it is showing some SQL. Every report when you click, it will take your SQL. Okay, that SQL is called logical SQL. Then also for every cache entry, we also have the cache SQL. So we have some data, but which SQL data it is? So that SQL also there. That is called cache metadata. So whenever a request comes, it will try to compare what is your request, what is the entries you have. So if this request is whatever request is coming from a user, if that request SQL is equivalent to or subset. Subset is lesser. Equivalent means as it is. So then it will satisfy need, and then it will route you to cache. Physical memory.
database is also physical.
Yes.
And the cache is also physical. Because runtime means we are getting the data.
Yes.
But anyhow, we once run means it is stored in that cache. So what is the difference between these cache data and that data response?
So now I have one employee table. The table size is 100 million, and there are 3 departments: 10, 20, 30. So now I am looking for a output in every department. How many employees are there? If I go to database, how you get the data? It will calculate. It is taking 15 minutes. You will get the data output in 15 minutes. Fine. What is happening here? Okay, I queried on the database and then it took 15 minutes and then gave you 3 records. Fine. So now this guy is also looking in every department number how many employees are there. So what he has to do, forget about the cache for a moment. What should he do now? He will find. How much time again it will take? Are you all people working on same query at a time? So how many? Same 15 minutes. Repetitive query and taking time. But if you have a cache, you spend, first time person is a botherer. That's I don't mind. Still I told you how to make it. In every department you try to calculate, group, whatever output you get, that output I am keeping in the cache. And next time you come and see the data, in next millisecond you will see that. It doesn't have. So 2 advantages. Performance, you will feel logically performance. User feel like I am getting data super fast. You know, it is this concept is there everywhere. Sometimes when you open a browser, let's say you open a newspaper or anything, when you open next time, third time, immediately, it will not really go to your actual, even if you go to any e-commerce websites, when you open a page first time, it takes time. So next time, third time onwards, whenever you see, all that will be coming from your browser only unless you refresh it. So it knows that intelligent mechanism, it will bring it. What is that? Browser cache. That also we have here. The next other things are there. So cache means temporary storage. Your data will pick up from the database itself, from the cache. Huh? Time? No, that is next time coming. So where are we now? Cache creation only.
So cache is the metadata, I mean query or
both data, metadata. Why metadata is storing is, if any new request is coming, I want to see whether this request I can get it from any one of the existing data. So it will compare the metadata. If metadata is equivalent to or subset of any one of the metadata entries, then it will route you to the cache. Query rewrite is in database.
So here, for example, last time query I am using 10, 20 departments. So this time I am using only 10 departments. Then that time it will go for the cache or it will go for the subset.
No. What is that? Just repeat again.
For example, I am taking employees. First time I query 10, 20.
10, 20.
Next time I am running the query where department number is equal to 10. And it will go for the server.
No, cache. So that is the reason I am using a word equivalent to or subset. So second query, what is that second query says department 10 only, but what is your cache query says 10, 20, whether it is a subset or a superset, subset, then it will go to cache. If you select 10, 20, 30, that is a superset, so it will go to database. Again it will build the cache. Next time if you select again 30 or 10, 20, 30, then it will go to this. So this is the cache. Now, once you build cache, if you leave it every time, forget about cache, every data it will bring you from cache only. So that is the reason to make or to get your data on a relevancy basis. So generally, once you build cache, fine. But generally, ETL people will keep loading data. How frequently they load? You know very clearly how frequently you load your ETL data. Daily once or every 1 hour or every 3 hours. So as soon as your ETL people loaded data into data warehousing, so you have to purge your caches. Otherwise, your ETL loaded data into data warehousing tables with new, but your still cache is old. So that's why as soon as ETL people are loaded data into data warehousing, so your cache entries have to be purged. How many ways we can purge cache? Okay, you can go to cache manager. Okay, in the cache manager you can manually purge it. Right click and purge it. Right click and purge it. That option is only if you are a developer you can use it. Otherwise it cannot help. And what is the second option? We can table level in a physical layer. For every table you can define cache expiry time. It is all, I tell you openly, these are all your question. Every line in cache is a question. Okay, so how many, what is game? Because people will be finding very interesting to discuss this topic. Lot of questions you will get from sub child questions you will get it. And then finally this is what we have to see, right? Okay, so how to, so right now both the two options are not a real useful one. Manually I cannot keep a person to manually keep purging, and the second one is every table level I can set for every 1 hour purge cache. It is also not right, because say example I have a data in a database dimension table, so and there is a table in a physical layer. I told for every 1 hour purge cache. Irrespective of if there is any change in your database or not, it will keep purging 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. If it is real changes in 1 hour, fine. But if there are no changes also in the database, it will keep purging. Now, so I have created a report. Okay, and we have a cache. For next 20 hours, there is no change in the table, but it will keep purging it. So it's of no use. So that is also not a real useful or a optable method. Okay, selecting at the table level. And somebody asked me one more question also. I have a report. In the report, I am selecting 2 columns from 2 different tables, EMP, DPT. I have a cache and a employee table, but I don't have a cache and a department table, but I am creating a report combining both. So in this case, what happened? Since your data department is not in the cache, it will go to the database only. If everything is available in the cache, then only it will go. Otherwise, it will go to database. So then it will build the cache. Next time people will enjoy it. Okay. So what is the best option you can select is every end of data warehousing load. Okay, you can use a command called so this command will go and purge every entry which is there in the cache. So this has some options also. SA purge all cache. You can give table as an input. All I want to purge caches which are created on a particular table, or I want to purge cache, okay, of the reports which are created on a particular subject area. You can give subject area as an input. You can give table as an input. I will share you those commands. But at least if you know this, fine. So this command right now again I am doing it manually. So what is the best way in a real, or you should answer is call SA purge all cache is a command in OBIEE will purge every cache. So this command can be executed from a command line which is called in OBIEE, which is called NQCMD. Using NQCMD command line, okay, we will call the SCA purge cache. That entire statement I will keep in a shell script, and this shell script I will execute every day as soon as ETL people completed data warehousing load. Okay, we'll run this command. You don't need to come to OBIEE. Okay, so this is, forget about all, this is all interview, but what you are doing in your right. Okay, in case you want to answer, we use SCA purge cache, and that will be called using NQCMD command line. That I will show how to execute also later. And this will keep in a shell script, and the shell script will be executed as soon as ETL loaded. So this will be added in the part of SQL itself, ETL itself. Okay, and as soon as ETL people completes data loading, we will fire this one. It will go and clean up all the caches. Okay, after loading, because now ETL people loaded new data, so that's why we are purging it. So for next all, next to any report, will be getting data from a database. Database procedure you can do, but lot of things you need to do, not a right method. What I know this one how to execute, I'll show you in a NQCMD options. So this is how we'll use a command. Okay, it is a continuation. Okay, so NQCMD is one command. After that, we'll give some ODBC name, your OBIEE username, password. Okay, and this command I will keep into one file like this. Okay, and then I'll use it. So what is this means? In SQL.txt, I will keep this command. If I go and execute this command, it will purge all from outside, not connecting to OBIEE. Whatever entire line is there, I will keep into one shell script. I will run that shell script. So shell script will run this. It will run the NQCM SCA purge cache. This will be available in this one. So you can take this and then execute outside. Okay, this will finish your this is the right way of doing it. In case you want to do it from the OBIEE logging in, and then if you want to do, you can use it. So every time I cannot log in midnight, 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So we will automate it, and using this command, whatever I showed you, that I will keep in a shell script, and I will schedule the shell script as part of the ETL jobs. I want to run it as soon as it is completed. So this is a cache purging method. Okay, now, so this is also what it is doing. It will purge every entry as soon as data loaded. This is the right option actually for every project. There is also a different way which will go and purge cache for the reports where there is a change in the table. I have 100 reports. But right now today we have not loaded data to any table. I don't need to purge any cache. and I have loaded only, we have reports and there are 100 tables and there are only changes in 2 tables. If I go and purge caches of 2 tables, that is sufficient. I don't need to purge other previous tables. So to make these things automatically happen, so in OBIEE we have a method called event pooling. So what event pooling does? Event pooling will delete the cache entries for whatever tables there is a change. Okay, so now to make this happen in OBIEE, you will find one table. So first thing is, step 1 is you have to create, okay, one table in your database. Wherever you wish, you can create it. So generally these tables are already present, okay, ready-madely comes for you, and that you can find out in your OBIEE installation directory. Okay, you will find out a script, or this will be already available in your OBIEE repositories. So you will have a table like this. Since I already created, I am using it. So in the notes I have given, okay, how to create it. What is this? This is one table. Table name is S underscore NQ underscore EVPT. EVPT stands for Event Pooling Table. You can get it, create table syntax in the notes or in the documentation also it is there. What are the columns we have here? In this table we have one column update type. So what we need to do, every time if there is any change in any table, okay, immediately you have to come to this table and say, let me take, already have some SQLs, take it. Okay, so here also I have already, so this is a command, okay, same thing, web logic, and we are putting this SQL. So this I am put into one file. Which one? In the window, the output, O means output. So this output, anything failure, success, the log will be returned. This is a log file, that's all. If you don't use also, no problem. But now when you execute it, it will show whether it is successful or failure. But if you want to know what it is a fail, why it is failed, if you want to see that log, that will be returned to that file. This is the shell script code. You paste this code, that's all. You keep this one in your shell script. So only thing is the path will be different in your Unix, remaining all same. Exactly shell. It is batch file in Windows and it will be shell script in your Unix. That's all. It is what is there exactly will be there in your shell script. You have to paste this entire line in your shell script. Okay, I should have some. Okay. Anyway, I have given everything here. Just go by here. So what I need to do, whenever there is any change in the table, okay, so you have to go and say insert into SQ and S underscore NQEPT. So currently have a change in one particular table, okay, that is a customer table name, and which schema it is, okay. So right now it is BA sample. So remember, the schema table name is everything should match from what we have here. So if you say EMP and you can say SCART, okay, if you want to purge cache for EMP, okay, you have to say your table is EMP, your schema is SCART. And then what is catalog? So what is this catalog name is nothing but this catalog name to which it is added here. So this catalog name where it is added here, HR analytics, or you can say this particular folder name, anything is fine. Then what is the database name? So this is your database name. Okay, when this table updated, then update type. Okay, update type. Okay, 0 means no change, 1 means it is inserted, 2 means updated. 1 or 2 anything. If you give 1 or 2, both will be coming under same category. Except you can say just simply 1. So you are saying that in this table, in this particular time, your cache has been updated. Who has to do? Somebody has to do. If you don't do, it is waste. Okay. So now I am keeping this information into. So I have put this information over here. Okay. And every time whenever there is a change in a table, somebody has to go and keep it. So how you can do it actually? The main problem with this particular method is whenever there is a change, somebody has to go and keep it. So we have to keep this responsibility with the ETL team. That's why most of the times we don't use this option because we have a ETL involvement here. Whenever ETL people loads data to a particular table, these guys have to go and then make entries into this particular table here. Okay, once you keep changing this table, okay, so this table will have the information about what time what table has been changed in your database. If there are 100 tables changed in your database, you will have 100 tables list here. Then what I want to do, whatever entries we have, for whatever tables we have entries here, for whatever tables we have updated data, I want to go and purge all the caches for these particular tables. So now I inserted some records in employee when I know the date. And after next day, if there are any changes, I will go and again say I will insert into employee table, then I will go and change this one. So this table updated now. So like this table will tell you which table, what time modified. That is the conclusive information you will get from this. Now, once you have this setup ready, or it should be continuous process, then what you do, go to RPD and try to import this table to your OBIEE. So event pooling, first create a table. Somebody has to keep updating data into this table. Who? Generally not manually updating, not a solution. Well, there will be 2,100 tables, 5,000 1,000 tables. ETL people, they will change some tables, they don't change it. We don't know. That's why this responsibility better to keep with ETL. As soon as a Informatica mapping or a ODA mapping loaded to a table, so they should go and keep a updated information in this table. Once you have that information ready, okay, continuously happening, then import this table here, keep it ready. So now this table in OBIEE contains the information about what table, what time updated in the database. So now I am going and then passing this information to OBIEE that, so this table has that table's information which have been modified, what time, what time, what time. So how I pass this is, this third step is go to manage, sorry. Okay. So here you will find an option which is called Oracle BI event tables. So I am telling this is the event pooling table, means that this table contains all that information. Means which table what time change. Say execute. So I am choosing which is the table is actually your event pooling table, EPT table. Say okay. So before saying okay, you will find out one option called pooling frequency. How frequently should I go and check in this table? So people will keep changing whenever. There might be a changes every minute or every 1 hour, it doesn't matter. But how frequently your OBI should go and check into this table? What are the tables to change? What are the tables you change? If you select the 60 minutes, it will go and check in this table every 1 hour what records, what tables have been changed, what tables have been changed. If you select 1 minute, it will check in every minute. So right now let it be 60 minutes. Okay, you are done. What it will do, you don't yet no further intervention required from your side. If you keep updating this table properly, regularly, whenever you insert the data into this table, OBIEE will automatically for every 1 hour check this table. Whichever table found that, okay, last 15 minutes to this 15 minutes, these tables are changed. Last 1 hour to this hour, these tables are changed. So it will go and fire a query on this table. Whatever table names it will find, it will go and purge all the cache entries which are created for this particular table. So this way, in a realistic approach, you can purge the cache. Okay, it will go and purge the cache entries for the tables where there is a change only. You have 100 tables, but there is a change for 2 tables only. So it will go and purge the cache for those 2 tables only. It will not purge, it will not touch the other cache entries. 98 tables caches, it will not touch it. It will touch only 2 tables cache. It will clean up. Next 1 hour, there is no change. It will not do anything. After 1 hour, there is no change. No data entered into any table. So it will not purge any cache. After that, there are entries in all 100 tables. It will purge all 100 tables. This way, in a realistic manner, your cache purging will happen using event pooling, but generally nobody will use. Why? If you don't change this table properly, if you don't update this table properly, what happens? OBI will not purge it. OBI has to change better ETL. So this is not generally not a syncable situation. So that is the reason previous option is best. As soon as ETL, there is some problems. You might be deleting the cache entries even though there is no change, but still we will manage it. Okay. So that's why it is interview purpose important, but practically the previous one is important. You can say we are doing SCA purge all cache from the shell script, that's all. This is your, which one? You don't need to handle it, will purge automatically. You just see.
That will check in this table. Whenever we are clicking on that table, something like that, it
in this table.
So there will be some link in between that and this.
No, link is already, whatever I have given, that is the link. So now I told OBIEE that this is the event pooling table. So whenever you make it, so this will be recognized with a different symbol. So now OBIEE is doing its duty. Only thing your intervention is just selecting that this is the event pooling table. It will say that is opted for that, it is there. It will every 1 hour it will go and check the table, it will automatically purge the cache. You don't need to do anything else apart from this. But what is important is you have to ensure that your event pooling table is keep updated regularly whenever there is a change. If you don't say update it, it will not purge it.
So there is no way to update this hardware like in programs or something else.
Yeah, that's why you ETL people can take care. As soon as you in Informatica mapping, whenever you finish your load of a particular table, you can go and make it happen. Just to say write command there, update this table. Programmatically you can do, but that you have to be make it 100%. So, but again it is a ETL reporting integration. So that's why a lot of miscommunication can happen. So this is the story about the cache purging, very important for interview purpose. What is asking? You can keep it anything, you can keep any name, you can, only thing is table structure should be same. Whatever columns are there, that you will find it in a documentation or you can take it anywhere. The only thing is table name, column names and data types should be same. Okay, and the table name you can keep anything, because whatever table name you selected, that table only event pooling for OBIEE with this symbol. So that way we are passing that information. So this is all called OBIEE server cache, OBIEE cache. Apart from this, you will find out two different caches. One is called presentation server cache. Okay, and then browser cache. So browser cache, just now I told you. Whenever you create a report, generally whenever you open any screen here, when you click in next couple of minutes, okay, and the data will come from that browser only. That's why whenever you create a report or anything, or when you open, okay, mostly this will come from the browser cookies only. That is your operating system level settings. Okay, so that you can ignore. But what is the second level is, as per our discussion so far, we are talking about one cache. That cache is only your BA server cache. Okay, and say for example, whenever you create a report, let's say I am trying to create one report. I click the result button. Okay, so now it is taking data from the database or cache, forget about. Okay, again I am clicking the result button again. How many minutes we spend here? Re-clicking? Few seconds. Even for this few seconds also, if I go to database, cache and all, useless. So that's why for temporary, okay, whatever output you see, this output will be stored in a different cache, which is also called browser cache. Sorry, presentation server cache. This will create you problem for developers. Okay, so most of the developers will struggle with this kind of cache. Okay, so for a temporary, what is the default time? 3 minutes is the temporary time. So whenever you create any report, and sometimes if you, I am not sure whether you have noticed, sometimes I'll create a report, second time when I create and when I do something, you will not even see cache entries, or you will not see anything in the cache, or you will not see any activity also in the backside. Okay, means your data is coming from your presentation server cache. It will not take care of anything. As it is, if you are reclicking, it will not that intelligent of filters and subset, superset, anything. Whatever is there, if you are looking same thing, it will bring it from there. That's all. If you want, why you will feel a problem, say it will, as the default time is 3 minutes, sometimes what happens, you create some report and immediately in 1 minute you go and make some changes in the backend, some formula. If you try to open it, it will still show old data. That is because of the browser. So how to disable browser cache? Okay, this browser cache setting has to be disabled in presentation server configuration file. What is the presentation server configuration file? For every server there will be a configuration file, right? The same way, present day, different, both are different. Browser cache is only operating system. It is nothing to do with OBIEE. In your OS, whatever is there, that will rule applied. Presentation means in OBIEE, whether you have completely disabled or deleted cookies and all, doesn't matter. The cache will be there in the presentation server for 3 minutes. Okay, so where do we set up that? That will be set up in the
Now we are discussing our presentation purpose.
See, it is nothing that intelligent. It is only, you will see them, but you will feel a real pain with the presentation only. When you are making some changes, and sometimes it will not work immediately. Even if you change in the RPD also, it will not come. Okay, in case your presentation server, if your data is coming from the presentation server. Sorry, not here. So in this instance config file, okay, I'll show you, I'll pass you that the entry which has to be done here. We have to disable presentation server cache. You have to add some, by default it will not be there. Why? Because it is recommended to always have the presentation server cache. Why? Because in a real situation, there will not be any changes in the 2-3 minutes. So that's why people will not give much focus on this one. This will be come into picture in development, and this will be challenged for the developer only. So that's why not that important topic. But in a practical situation, you are the one going to encounter this problem. Why? You are making some changes and testing it. Quickly change and see the output. So you are, but in a real time, once you keep a data code in a production, user is not going to change any code. So that's why you will always happy to get the data from the presentation server cache. But it is a pain for the developers only.
Anyhow, without, once we are going to change in our query of some level of data,
Developer or a user?
Anyhow, we are going to deploy or manage some application or something. Then we are getting the result, right?
You are making online changes. Example, you made some RPD change in the online. Okay, and then you have, when you click on, or you created a report. You already created a report. Okay, and then you made some changes in the report formula. Okay, and then you are trying to see that. It is not going to be. Or some example. So you created a report, okay, and this is the BA server, this is the presentation server, okay, and then you made some changes. Somebody created this report, it is there in his browser. Somebody went and I asked somebody, please go and change this report. He saved it, he created a change and then he saved it. Your actual code is saved, but when you try to execute the report, if it is coming from the presentation server cache, you will still see old data. He has changed some formula in the report. Okay, but your data for your request, your output is in your presentation server. It will still bring you from there only. So that's why it is a real one. Right now you will confuse. That's why forget about. But cache is there in the presentation server, and you will have a real pain with this one. Developer will know that.
So when that presentation we have cache
3 minutes it will be automatically purged.
in 3 minutes.
3 minutes, and if you want you can disable it. If you don't want, you can, I'll tell you the command. Okay, you have to change in the ncase config file. Tomorrow I can show that. Sorry, instance config file. You have to put one more entry to disable the presentation side. It will not even build the cache further. So not advisable. Okay, so this is the cache. BI server cache, presentation server cache, and browser cache. In Amirpet, people will talk only about BA server cache, but there are two more things also. Browser cache is a generic one. Presentation server cache is a topic which is really pain a developer. So that also can disable or enable. Okay, fine. So rest we'll see tomorrow. BI, OBI, RPD will develop, and where are we right now? We are in only 50% of OBI. So second 50% we are not. What is that? Report development. Of course, that is only 2 days classes for me. Okay, but that is a rest 50%. Tomorrow will hopefully will start reporting part. There is another topic. Okay, that is usage tracking, and after that we will start the reports. You are leaving to after tomorrow. Tomorrow I can that reporting is all. It is like Rangoli kind of thing, colors and all that. Yeah, and
Any time